Let's not mess around. You've clicked on this video because you want to know if you should buy Flesh Made Fear. The game's just come out. It's claiming to be classic survival horror. It's the Halloween season. Is this the game for you? Let me just tell you, I have heard numerous developers claim to be classic survival horror, only to end up being a walking simulator. It doesn't have all of the checklist ticked off to be survival horror. That's your exploration, your horror atmosphere, your combat, item management, puzzles. This game nails survival horror. It doesn't do absolutely everything perfectly, it doesn't, but for the most part, this is a new classic in the genre. Like I said, this is survival horror. This is fixed camera angle survival horror. Tank controls included. There are no other control schemes. If you don't like tank controls, guess what? Flesh Made Fear isn't for you. But if you are into the classics like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, this is the game for you. The puzzles are not Silent Hill level. They're not. These are Resident Evil puzzles. That means they're engaging, they're fun to do, they're not too hard to figure out, they're not head scratchers. You kind of want to do them because the solutions are pretty obvious. I like to think of myself as pretty dumb when it comes to puzzles and video games, and it can really throw me through a loop. This game does not do that. You get two playable characters. That's Jack, the gameplay is seeing. That is the character that I beat the game with last night. And Natalie. Natalie's the female character. I've just started doing her playthrough, and while she has a few unique environments to her playthrough, it's not exactly the same, and your partner isn't the same. For the most part, fundamentally, it's the same playthrough. This is Resident Evil 2, if you know what I mean, where the scenario of A is exactly the same for Jill, for Claire and Leon, but there's a few different rooms, a few little places you go that are a little bit different, that don't make it identical. That's the kind of playthrough you're getting here. I had 5 to 6 hours on the clock by the time I finished it. That's just going on Steam's play time. I'd imagine you could whittle that down to 2 hours if you speed runner and you were really good at the game, you knew exactly where you were going. Again, this is just what the genre does. It's about a 5 to 6 hour kind of campaign. There's two characters, obviously, so you increase that amount, and if you're going for achievements, there are multiple endings. So you're going to do endings where you save one character and let another character die, save that character, let that other character die. It's very reminiscent of Resident Evil 1's ending system, where you can get different people on the helicopter at the end. Same kind of process. The storyline for this is you're clearly a rip-off of the STARS unit from Resident Evil. You've gone to the town of Rotwood to find a missing teammate and kill a guy called Victor Ripper. Victor Ripper is this mad scientist dude that's been doing all kinds of crazy experiments that's made the town go absolutely insane. You've got zombies and all kinds of other creatures. While it's not as grounded in reality as Resident Evil is, I know grounded Resident Evil doesn't make too much sense. Zombies, you get my point. But with Resident Evil, it was always a scientific explanation. With this, it leans a little bit into the supernatural, I think. It goes a little bit too crazy, but I like it. It's different. The soundtrack is 80s synth, and it oozes it. It oozes 80s synth style, 80s horror atmosphere with its lighting, its colored lighting in its environments. Enemy variety is really good here. You've got your classic zombie, you've got your weird flesh monsters with weapons, you've got one that crawls around on all fours, you've got one that floats later on in the game. Real pain in the ass, that one. That one will do heavy damage fast. I died so quickly, I was just like, what? Like, talking about dying, you'll die a fair few times in this game. Some enemies just catch you off guard, man, and they can really lock you down. There's loads of different visual styles to the enemies. They look good. The way they're introduced in the little cutscenes that they have, it's really cool. The way they've got like really shadowy eyes. Really love the designs and the variety to them. And it just keeps you on your toes when you enter a room and there's like an enemy coming towards you with like 5 zombies, and this particular enemy will explode if it gets too close. And trust me, if that thing explodes and it's too close, you're pretty much dead at that point. It's irritating, but keeps you on your toes, and that's what you need when you're dealing with horror combat. It needs to be engaging and it needs to be threatening. Otherwise, it loses a lot of its appeal. Environments, you're getting a lot of classic staples here. Your cabins, you go into a police station, the woods. The thing is, you'll be running around these open areas, that are just filled with zombies. I would claim that these areas are the areas you're going to be dodging enemies. You really don't want to be wasting ammo in these areas, but when you're in the tight, enclosed areas like the police station or you go into a cinema at one point, when you're walking through these corridors, or a school perhaps, the enemies in there, you really want to take them out because you don't want to be coming back through, and there's a lot of enemies in there that kind of lock you down. Especially there's a bit in a sewer where they're jumping out of the water. It's just, I feel like you work it out yourself pretty easily that certain areas you do not want to waste your ammo on, because you just kind of, it's quite open, it's easy to dodge, but when you're inside, start shooting. As you can tell, I'm pretty positive on the game, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who's a fan of classic survival horror, but I do have two issues. I'll get the first one out the way because I believe this is more of an issue with the genre as a whole, the classic ones, the fixed camera angle style, and that's boss fights. There's a fair few boss fights in this game, and they all play identically. There's nothing to them. I know someone's going to be in the comments going, wow, remember Code Veronica when you had to use a sniper rifle on Nosferatu? Yeah, but that's like one random encounter. When it comes to bosses in these fixed camera angle survival horror games, I'm getting sick of saying survival horror. How many times have I said that in this review? Anyway, when it comes to these boss fights in these kind of games, they basically run around in a circle, shoot, 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 run around in a circle, shoot, 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 run around in a circle, shoot, shoot, shoot. There's a dodge button in this, which I guess makes it a little bit different. It's not Resident Evil 3 dodge where it just randomly activates. I mean, it's like dedicated to a shoulder button. You just dodge and it makes you move quicker. It's handy in tight situations, but, it just is what it is when it comes to these boss fights. Very repetitive, very easy, very mediocre. But what I will say is those boss fights look cool. When they first show up, the animations to them, just the way they look. Very impressive, very good design. Can't knock that at all. The other issue I have is, you've probably seen it in the gameplay, the game is very dark. Now, I'm not knocking that, it's a horror game, it should be dark, right? It helps with the atmosphere. It's the reliance on the torch to illuminate the room. Now, I usually love this in third-person, over-the-shoulder style horror games, but with this, the torch doesn't illuminate anything in the room. The light isn't reflecting. It's just kind of like lights up anything that's a shadow. So it's like a cone vision of light that doesn't reflect, doesn't light up the room. And if the room is too dark, you can't see a thing. So you're just kind of like running around in a circle. There's no way of getting around this. You're just going to have to deal with it. I knocked the gamma at one point just to kind of like see if it would help, but the game looked so washed out and horrible. I just reverted it back to the way it was, and I was just like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna have to deal with it. It's an issue, it's annoying, but it doesn't ruin the experience. There are some quality of life improvements here to survival horror. If you've played classics in the past, you know how annoying it is when you're trying to line up a character. Say you have a crank, there's a crank slot, you're trying to line it up, you select use crank, and then it says it can't be used here, and you're like, I'm looking at the hole. So you've got to maneuver the character and then it just works. This game never has that issue because it highlights whatever you're looking at. So as long as it's highlighted in this red outline, you have no issues. The second you hit the item, it will work. So yeah, as you can tell, I love this game. I love its weapon variety. You get machine gun, pistol, the double knives you've got are pretty cool. The shotgun's awesome. Punchy sound design to it. I love the soundtrack. I love the visuals, the retro nostalgic feel of PS1 graphics that just, I don't know, the work on me. The controls tight. Animations across the board are pretty good. Some of them aren't perfect, but for the most part, it's nailing it. Some of the best I've seen from an indie dev. The fact that this game was apparently made by one guy, apparently wrote it, He made it, and he did the soundtrack. That's insane. Now, the game is voice acted, and the voice acting feels like it's been ripped out the 90s too. This isn't high quality double A or triple A level voice acting. This is very much the 90s, and it works. The game is great. It fits Halloween perfectly for me. I wasn't expecting to play a modern horror game for Halloween. I was getting ready to fire up Resident Evil 1 for the 100th time. But nope. This came into my emails. It said I had a free key to use to review the game, and you know what? I'm all for it. I was like, screw it. I played the demo a few months ago and it was pretty cool, so I thought, let's try out the full game. Now listen, some people are going to be like, well, hang on, if you got the game for free, are you a bit of a shill? Can you be trusted with your opinion? Let me make this clear. I value my time over anything else. If this game sucked, and it doesn't, I wouldn't have done the review, because I would have dropped the game and I've been like, I'm not even going to beat it. So I'm not reviewing it, because if I don't beat a game, I ain't reviewing it. I beat the game, so trust me when I say, regardless of whether I got the key for free, this game is awesome. I wouldn't lie about that. But anyway, people, that's all I got. This is a classic survival horror. If you're into that stuff with time controls, it's the game for you. Trust me. Let me know down below if the game interests you, if you're going to pick it up. But yeah, if you're new here, subscribe. That's all I got, people. I'll catch you later.